Hi there, my name is Laylie and I'm an antisocial artist. When I was graduating college and deciding on a career, I actually thought that I would never be able to work as a professional artist because I couldn't network and I didn't really find gallery openings or those kinds of things very enjoyable. But then I started seeing Instagram artists and Twitter artists, and I realized you could become a successful artist from the comfort of your home just by pushing yourself on social media, which was really, really cool. Until I realized there was a social part of social media. Nevertheless, I experimented and I kind of did things my way, and I found out I could grow my accounts without talking to people. Over the past couple of months, I've grown my art account on Instagram from 1,000 followers to 10,000 followers, and with that, I started getting opportunities to work with global brands like Coca-Cola, Disney Plus, Ulta Beauty, and more. When I was first looking into how to grow my account, I saw a lot of advice that was things like, oh, just have fun with it, make sure you're commenting on other people's art, engage with the community, talk to other artists, all of those kinds of things, which is really, really good, solid advice if you like talking to people. But I don't. I really don't like making small talk, so simple things like commenting on other people's art or even coming up with captions that end in a fun question for the audience, those have always been hard for me. Not because I don't want to interact, but just because I don't have a lot to say. I figured there are probably other people like me who want to use social media to get their art out there and just aren't that good at the social part of it, so I figured I would share my tips. So here are ways that you can grow your account without having to talk to a lot of people, just ways to make your work do the work. First tip, use art share pages. They get a really bad rep from huge artists that have like 2 million followers because they don't need any exposure. The whole issue with them is they will probably get more credit for your art, they'll get more engagement, more likes, whatever, than you get for the art. But if you have 100 followers and they have 200,000 followers, then in my opinion, of course it makes more sense that they'll get more likes, but that doesn't mean that they're not going to funnel people towards you. They were crucial for me getting my first 5,000 followers. My target audience is Black women, so I would go to pages that share art from Black creators. Their audience was already my target audience. So instead of it being shared to a random 200,000 people, there was already a huge overlap with the kind of people that I thought would like my art. What this would lead to is when people would see my art on those pages, they would follow through on it. They would click my name from seeing me written as the artist, they'd come to my page, find the illustration that they just saw, they would comment on it on my page, go to my shop, buy it, DM me, ask when it would be available if it wasn't in my shop yet. There was usually a ton of follow through on it because I picked pages that had my target audience. So for me, I would definitely suggest using those art share pages when you're first starting out. All you have to do is find those pages and then read the rules for the submission and see if they'll accept your art and repost it. Very easy, minimal conversation. Usually you just send them a DM of your post or you just tag them in your posts in the future. My next thing is always share your art to your stories. Some people don't scroll all the way down when they get to Instagram. They get stuck just looking at the stories because they go by really fast, they're right on top, they're eye-catching. So always post your new posts up there. Once it's there, tell your followers how to support you. So what I'm saying is repost your art in your story and then tell your followers like, new post, share it if you can, story reshares, help get new eyes on my work. It seemed a little cringy to me at first, but then I realized I don't think it's weird when other artists do that. I just felt uncomfortable doing it myself. If I see someone say that and I like the art, I go and I reshare it. I don't comment because I don't want to talk to anyone, but if people remind me to save it or reshare it or just do things that don't require that much interaction, I do them, and your followers will most likely do the same thing. They want to support you sometimes, but they honestly just don't know how. So make sure you tell people easy ways they can support you. Also, in your stories, make it easier for people to interact. People don't answer a lot if I write a question where they have to type, which makes sense because if people ask me something where I have to type an answer, I just keep scrolling. But if it's something where it's just choice A or choice B, then you tap one, or if it's the one where you kind of slide the little thing side to side, people like responding to those, and it boosts your engagement, it gives you helpful info if you're asking good questions, and it helps you stay on those people's story priority so that they keep seeing you in the future. Okay, so the next one is for people who have really bad social skills like me, or if you're just really blunt with your words and you're not as good at making them last longer. You've probably heard by this point that the first 30 minutes or so that you put something on Instagram, you're supposed to respond to all your comments because that somehow affects the algorithm. Well, the other thing is, comments have to be more than 4 words. So if someone compliments your art, you can't just say thank you, because then that won't boost it as much. It doesn't count as a comment. When someone compliments your art, you have to start making sure that you always respond in 4 words. So instead of thank you have to say thank you very much. Thank you, thank you. Ah, OMG, thank you. Thank you, I'm glad you like it. Thank you. I really liked working on that part. Always follow it up with something else. It feels really weird to kind of have to memorize and think about because some people do this naturally, but for me, I needed to start having some go-to things to say, so I figure there might be other people like that too. So there you go, a couple of 4-word ideas for how to say thank you. Next, let's talk about TikTok a little bit. You should get a TikTok. You don't have to be able to dance. You don't have to be Gen Z. You don't have to be on camera. Just look for popular sounds and then montage your art over the sounds. Use random popular hashtags as well. And I mean really random. Like ASOS Fashion Challenge, even though that's not what your art is. Just pick the most popular sounds and the most popular hashtags, and every now and then, one of them might get like 10,000 views or even more, and it's very low effort. Having more social media pages also makes it easier for you to make more content. I share my TikToks to my Instagram as Reels. I know that technically Instagram doesn't boost them when they have the TikTok logo or whatever, but it's about being able to post every day so that you stay on people's feed and you kind of diversify what you're making. You can pretty much copy your posts from Instagram to Twitter, but I'm not gonna lie, I don't do that. Not because it doesn't work, just because I'm lazy. Next, make sure you support your mutuals. This can be really hard if you don't like commenting, but if you do notice that there are always the same couple of people who always support you, always comment on your posts, make sure that you interact with them as well. Do things like reshare their post to your stories, save the post if they're having something like a draw this in your style challenge, participate in it. Do things that you can to support them, even if you don't necessarily comment on their stuff all the time. Do it in other ways. Lastly, use all the non-social ways you can get more eyes on your posts. This mostly means using keywords. So behind the scenes, you should be doing things like pinning your art on Pinterest and adding all of your keywords to it. Then going into the advanced settings in your Instagram, and then in the accessibility part where it says describe the image, make sure you put all your keywords in the description. Find as many applicable hashtags as possible. They have to be good hashtags that people actually follow. So for me, I look for hashtags that other people I follow are following, because then it's a little bit more likely that people are actually using those. This tip requires a lot of research, but it also requires the least amount of interpersonal skills. So if you're an introvert, make sure you make use of this. It just makes your art show up in front of people more often. I hope you found some of these tips helpful. Even if you're not antisocial, a lot of these will still work for you, but for people who just are not that good with people, these can be really, really helpful. If you want more tips in the future, make sure you subscribe and hit that little bell thing so that you can get a notification the next time I post something. Hope you guys enjoyed. See ya!